A big play by Woodrow Wilson at the beginning of the first quarter, intercepting in the end zone, seemed to fire up the Alouettes. 2 field goals gave them an early 6-0 lead. The Eskimos came back, led at 7-6, a fumble. They took the lead, and then that crazy turnaround.
Dan Kearns had a shot at the ball for the Eskimos. He couldn't bring it in. McMahon did. But look where they are, at their own 1-yard line. Ferragamo for Della Riva. Ed Jones got his hand up in front of the ball as the flag is down on the play.
There have been some outstanding plays in the first half, Pat, both offensively and defensively, and it's going to be difficult to find out who wins the Panasonic play of the game.
Number 44, Montreal. Second down over.
The center. But Ed Jones came up with a superlative defensive play right there. Peter Della Riva running a seam pattern in the middle. Seemed to get a perfectly delivered ball from Ferragamo, but Jones, with his speed, jumped in and was able to deflect it away.
Flag down again over the head of Iraqi, who was really rocked by Pete Lavorato.
That is for Nick Iraqi, incomplete. Also penalty.
Looks like back-to-back holding penalties against Montreal.
You know, when you play against the Eskimos, imagine getting hit like this.
Oh. It was holding against Montreal, so McGrath will be punting out of his end zone. And here the Eskimos should take over in excellent field position, probably somewhere around the 40-yard line, as McGrath is just about 15 yards deep in the end zone. Low pass from center, but he gets it away. Good high punt. Hayes at the 45 drops it. It bounced right back into his hands. And he gets to the 43, no further. Down quickly was Dave Dumars, but the Eskimos are back knocking at the door.
Surely they don't call that the Argo bounce still. Seems to me it hasn't bounced for them in a long time.
Well, since 52, they haven't won the Grey Cup. And it appears most unlikely that they'll win it this year. Well, the Eskimos struck quickly last time after recovering a fumble. Let's see what Warren Moon elects to do right now. Going for Waddell Smith, no good. Woodrow Wilson was there, and so too was Steve Jelly.
Jelly did a very fine job coming back into the play from his middle safety position, giving a little aid to Wilson and deflecting the pass. He was beaten on the touchdown, but he had tripped on this artificial turf, something that's easy enough to do, but came back with a big play there.
Moon has been good on 12 of 17 passes for 199 yards. That's his first incompletion of the second quarter. Jelly almost picked it out, then almost deflected it into Willie Hampton's arms, but there is a flag down on the play.
I'll tell you, I don't think the flag is for interference. Jelly made a great effort going for the ball, but it seemed to me he went through Marco Sincar in getting to the ball to cause that deflection.
Unnecessary roughness. Montreal, number 53. First down.
Well, Harold Randolph, the middle linebacker, has assessed a roughing penalty, and boy, that's a big one because it gives the Eskimos first down inside the Montreal 30-yard line.
There's a look at the effort by Jelly. Willie Hampton almost picked it off, but as you pointed out, a very costly penalty incurred by Harold Randolph, their middle linebacker.
Jim Germany. Germany gets to the 25-yard line. Glenn Weir was there to make the tackle for Montreal, along with Willie Hampton. The gain is 4. It is 2nd and 6. Eskimos at the Montreal 25.
In obvious passing situations, the Alouettes bringing in a 6th defensive back, and Wally Buono, the 10-year linebacker on the outside, is removed.
Joe Kuklo, number 22, goes in as that 6th back. Diving attempt by Marco Sincar, but he couldn't pull it in, and so it'll be 3rd down upcoming. Dave Cutler will try the field goal when we come back. It is 14-6, 2 minutes and 33 seconds left to play in the first half. Cutler's first field goal try of this afternoon. It is wide. So credit Cutler with a single point, and Montreal goes up by 9 now, 15-6. Alouettes have to consider themselves fortunate to get out of that.
Exactly what I was going to say, Pat. You give field position like that to the Eskimos, and you can almost count on them taking at least 3 with them.
You know, I hope this isn't misunderstood, but the Eskimos don't look as sharp as I've seen them look. Do you agree or disagree?
They don't seem to have the same fire in their eyes. They're the team that came out here, expected to win, favored to win. They've got all the experience and everything behind them. The Alouettes, some great individuals, but still injuries and new people and trying to fit together.
Scott. Good job by Joe Holloman. I don't know if Scott got the first down. He's very close to it, but Holloman did a good job staying with him.
James Parker a little shaken up on that last play, slow to get to his feet. Here's a look at Scott. He's been working against Holloman throughout the afternoon. Curling back to the inside. Holloman respecting the dangerous receiver that he is. Trying to find an open spot, but he's covered well.
2nd and about a yard to go for the first down. Full house backfield for the Alouettes. Skip Walker. Well, he fought for that first down, I'll tell you that, because he was met about a half yard beyond the line of scrimmage and dug his way in and appears to have the first down. Dan Kepley was there along with Dave Fennell. We looked at Ferragamo statistics. He'd love to get a touchdown before this first half comes to an end. It's only the 2nd Montreal first down of this quarter. They trail 15-6. They have the ball just outside their 45. Ferragamo throws. The catch is made again by Scott. And knocked out of bounds by Joe Holloman.
There's no secret about the fact that the Alouettes felt they could throw against Holloman short. Mind you, they haven't really tried to work against him deep. The one big play they had in the first half of this play was 65 yards to Scott against Holloman, but it was a short curl of about 12 to 15 yards, and then Scott was able to break it from there. But they're going consistently to Holloman and also working inside against McLeod.
2nd and 3. Billy Johnson inside the 35 to about the 33-yard line. Larry Highbaugh and Pete Labarato bring him down. 25 yards. The completion, Ferragamo to Billy Johnson.
Again hitting the seam. Mike McLeod, number 18. You saw him short. Highbaugh was deep on the outside. Labarato, of course, in the middle. Johnson, with that 7 years experience, coming in, hitting the seam, and Ferragamo hitting him on the break.
A minute 35 left to play in the first half. Edmonton 15, Montreal 6. First down, Montreal at the Edmonton 33-yard line. Short to Peter Delariva, and Ed Jones forces him out at about the 23-yard line. Very close to another first down. They sent Scott deep and then just brought Dalla Riva toward the sideline, and he gets very close to 10 yards. Short yardage offense comes in now. That's Nick Araki. Chuck McMahon comes back into the ball game. Second and inches. Ferragamo keeps it, and I'll tell you, was he rocked. Did you see him get zapped?
I think it may have been Parker, number 40, that seemed to come over top. I'm not sure of the number.
I think it may have been Kepley.
Well, it was 40 or 42. I'll tell you, he paid the price, though, Pat. There's no doubt of that. There's Kepley, 42. Oh, did he meet him?
Well,
how do you do, Vince?
Did you see the quote in the paper this morning? Kepley said that he wanted to hit a millionaire. But the only place he'd be able to do that would be on a football field, and I'll tell you, he certainly got his money's worth on that occasion. It is first down, Montreal, at the Eskimo 21. Well, Johnson went to the sideline, and Ferragamo thought he was going to turn it upfield.
Wanted to hit a millionaire, huh? Isn't that something? I would have thought, coming from Edmonton, he'd be used to millionaires.
Or might even be one himself. Anyway, the incompletion makes it 2nd and 10, Montreal. That's Ferragamo's first incompletion in his last 5 attempts. He's been good on 11 of 18 for 205 yards. Ferragamo for McMahon. He'll score the touchdown. Somebody blew the coverage.
Mike McLeod blitzed. Pete Laverato got drawn over to the defensive left. Highball was isolated on the right. McMahon was the inside receiver. Laverato ought to have picked him up, but got drawn to his defensive left, and that whole area was wide open.
Point after is good. Pretty fair ball game right now. 15-13, Edmonton leads.
What a read by Vince Ferragamo, number 18, blitzed. You see how Highball was taken up with James Scott. Laverato was way off to the other side, and there was a whole open area. From that picture, they looked fairly close together. In actual fact, McMahon was 10 yards from anybody.
Wow, that makes it a ball game now, Mike. The Alouettes coming back. They looked for a moment as though they had crumbled when they gave up the ball, or very nearly gave it up on their own 1-yard line. They weren't able to move it, punted away, and then when the Eskimos were only able to pick up a single point out of that, the Alouettes seemed to come to life again.
Well, throughout the first half, we've seen the excellence of their passing game. Ferragamo hitting those seam patterns, working to the outside. Their defense seems to be a little fired up, but at one point, eventually, the Edmonton pressure was starting to be too much for them. But you're obviously going to see a high-scoring offensive game from first quarter to fourth.
232 yards offense so far for Montreal, 224 for the Eskimos. Joe Holloman from his 8-yard line. Are fired up. Harold Randolph was down to make the stop at about the 22-yard line. 38 seconds left to play in the first half. Edmonton 15, Montreal 13. did the right thing. He bobbled the pass from center, and rather than do anything fancy, he just made sure he picked it up. Glenn Weir dropped him, but Moon was just trying to get back to the line of scrimmage and very nearly made it.
Hasn't been sloppy football, Pat. Some of the mistakes we've seen, such as that miscue on the exchange and the fumble by Braisley earlier on a kickoff, that really comes from being a little over anxious, trying to run a 50 yards before you've actually got a hold of the ball firmly and so on. The teams are keen. They're playing well. You see it on the specialty units.
And that's it. Warren Moon just decides to ground the ball, and so we come to the end of the first half with the Eskimos out in front of the Alouettes 15-13. Scott was not ready when Ferragamo delivered the ball, and as a result it goes as an incompletion. Joe Holloman was covering on the play.
Look at Warren Moon. He's been effective. Anytime you have 199 yards passing in one half, you know you're doing all right.
2 of them for touchdowns as Moon continues to warm up on the sidelines. It is 2nd and 10 Alouettes from their 40. Ferragamo for Iraqi. He takes the hit but hangs on for another first down. Pete Laverano was there to hit him immediately, but Iraqi showed you lots of courage. Even though he had been hit earlier in the ball game, he went high in the air, made the catch, good for 23 yards.
Again, it's coming back to the inside receiver, Pat, but more than anything, it's the big target, a well-thrown ball, and Iraqi using his body to shield the ball from the defensive men trying to get at it and trying to blow it away.
First down, Montreal. The ball at the Edmonton 47-yard line. Skip Walker runs right into Tom Towns as he crossed the 45 to about the 44-yard line. He'll have a gain of 3 yards maybe.
I think we have to comment that Doug Payton and Bill Norton are back in the offensive line for the Alouettes after being out last week, and certainly their return from injury has helped the Owls because Ferragamo, who's had to release fairly quickly, has nonetheless had pretty good protection throughout the game and has not been sacked to this point.
Ball was overthrown, and Montreal will be booting.
A lot of people in that area. Hey, one thing, Vince Ferragamo does not mind throwing into a crowd. Laverado, McLeod, Highbaugh were all around James Scott. But Ferragamo has the confidence that he can drop it in to where it has to be. At times, he's had problems with it, though. Interceptions in the past have presented difficulties to the Alouettes.
Rieta and Hayes back to receive Jerry McGrath's punt. Oh, this is a beauty. Hayes, 5 yards deep in the end zone, concedes the single point. And now it's a 15-14 ball game. Eskimos out in front of the Alouettes. We'll be back in town. This is Sinkar. And he gets the first down for the Eskimos. Warren Moon had been in trouble, but he spotted Sinkar, unloaded to him, and he gets the first down after being knocked out of bounds by Carl Braisley.
Pat, if I can butt in for a moment, Angelo Santucci is not in the lineup. He has suffered a bit of a bruised rib, so they're taking no chances on it. He is dressing. He will not play the second half, and they will x-ray him when they get home to Edmonton, although they do not think it is overly serious.
Thank you, Bill. First down, Eskimos. The ball at their 48-yard line. Brian Kelly makes the diving catch, and then is touched to make sure that he stays down by Maurice Burton. He'll have a gain of somewhere around 9 yards.
Pat, Junior IU is currently out of the lineup as we take another look at the Pattern by Kelly. He is out of the lineup, and number 68, Chris Walby, has moved to defensive tackle. Doug Scott has moved out to the defensive end. Whether or not they feel they want to give some of those linemen a bit of a breather on this hot, muggy afternoon, or whether it's injury, I don't know. Right now, IU is simply having his ankle taped on the bench.
Second and a yard to go for the first down, Eskimos. There was movement. The ball was given to Germany. And Chris Walby was the man that Mike had just mentioned, and he shot in offside.
IU now back into the game, and Walby out. May have been simply a repair to the tape on his ankle.
Well, there was a procedure call against the Eskimos, so Walby had been drawn offside. And that's a big play because Edmonton had picked up the first down, but now it'll be 2nd and 6.
The kind of mental mistake that Coach Hugh Campbell drills his team on. Edmonton, not a club that typically finds themselves in that situation. Now it appears offsetting penalties, Pat. The first indication was illegal motion. Also, they have called the Alouettes offside. So it'll be 2nd down and short yardage again.
And getting the first down is Jim Germany as he crosses the Montreal 50 into the 48. Wally Buono, number 39, made the hit. So Scott and Sincar come back out onto the field. It is first down, Eskimos, leading it by a point, 15-14 with 9 minutes, 40 seconds left to play in this third quarter. Well, Sincar felt that he was interfered with by Carl Brazeley, but no flag comes down.
I'll tell you, that's pretty good coverage. A little hook by Sincar. The pass delivered right on the break, but Brazeley right with him all the way. Here's another look at it. He's right on top of it. Some may say too much so, and it should have been interference, I suppose.
2nd and 10, Eskimos from the Montreal 48-yard line. Smith. The ball was right in his hands, and he dropped it. Waddell won't do that very often.
We're out against Joe Kuklo. Hugh Campbell knows how it feels. He didn't drop too many, mind you, but he knows that Waddell Smith ought to have had that. And in a game that's very tight with the Alouettes, they need them. They can't allow those kind of opportunities to slip through their fingers.
Kalisic will be punting to either Dave Dumars or Carl Brazeley. Brazeley stands just inside the Montreal goal area. There he is. Takes it at the 5-yard line. And is forced out as he gets to about the 12 by number 28, Gary Hayes. Just like to remind everybody that this program is copyright and is strictly for the private use of our audience. Any reproduction in whole or in part without the express written consent of the CTV television network is strictly prohibited. Well, this is a big series of downs coming up for Montreal right now, Mike. They're pinned deep in a hole, and this is normally where the Eskimos can start to take over the ball game. If they can contain Montreal here, the Alouettes are in trouble. Larry Highbaugh makes the tackle, but not before Johnson gets out over the 30 to about the 32-yard line. Good pass by Ferragamo. good catch by White Shoes. And the 20-yard gain gives the Alouettes some breathing room.
They really haven't worked against Larry Highbaugh all afternoon. They favored the other side, as we mentioned before, but there's no question that Highbaugh was laying well off the outside receiver, Johnson.
Crowd, which gave the Alouettes a big ovation when they left the field at halftime, are now starting to get in this ball game again. Alouettes trail by a point, 15-14. David Boone was there, number 64, to make the stop. And Walker may have gained a yard, not much more. There's the man that we were talking about earlier, Mike, in our hotel room, Hector Poitier.
Hector Poitier having an outstanding year with the Eskimos. Their left offensive tackle in his 4th year for McGill. Coach Cal Murphy didn't hesitate when I asked him, Coach, who's been having the best start for you within that 5-man unit? That's the chap right there.
The pass was behind James Scott. And so it brings the punting unit out onto the field. I had suggested that was a critical series of downs. Let's see what happens now.
You know, I think they moved out of the shadow of their goalpost, Pat. They got at least that 1 first down, and I think your point was well made in terms of being caught down in around their own 15-yard line. But if they get a good punt from McGrath, they're still in reasonably good position.
This is Frayetta at his 42. Woodrow Wilson was there to make the tackle as Frayetta got to about the 45-yard line. A 35-yard punt by McGrath on that occasion. And the Eskimos take over in pretty favorable position at their own 45 with 6 minutes and 29 seconds left to play in the 3rd quarter.
I just wouldn't want to say at any point in time that a club has taken over, because with the ebb and flow of this game, the Eskimos seem to take charge. The Alouettes come back valiantly, and it seems to me it's still very much up for grabs.
Moon again had trouble with the pass from center. Not trouble enough that he wasn't able to find Marco Sincar for a big first down into Montreal territory. Edmonton 15, Montreal 14. We'll be back in just a moment. 11 points a game. The CFL has really gone offensive. Pass was behind Sincar on that occasion. So it brings up a 2nd and 10 for the Eskimos at the Montreal 48. The coverage being provided by Carl Braisley.
Had a bit of an edge against Braisley, as once again he was trying to curl to that inside, but if the ball wasn't delivered perfectly, Braisley was close enough to help out, and he did.
Brian Kelly has caught 5 passes for the Eskimos.